Well, they finally completed their own downfall. Disney's Snow White live-action remake has been raising eyebrows for years, but now that it's out, the reactions to it were so bad, even Bill Maher couldn't stay quiet. In a recent segment, he went all in on the movie's catering to the small progressive crowd, and he didn't hold back. Today, we're breaking down everything Maher said, and this remake might be Disney's biggest flop, and the role Rachel Zegler played in it. As always, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos just like this.
Oh, have we been following the Snow White?
Actually, the first time hearing of this.
Really?
No. Yeah.
Okay, so the two stars hate each other, and then they couldn't put dwarfs because this is just so typical of the left. The progressives always finding a way to find their way back to doing something not progressive. You'd think the most progressive thing would be get people jobs, and dwarfs want to work. And
Ezra is really lucky not knowing about the existence of this disaster of a movie. Since Maher started with the dwarves not being cast, let's start with that, shall we? So after it was announced that Rachel Zegler would be playing Snow White, Peter Dinklage had an issue with Disney because apparently they were being half progressive since they were casting a Latina as the lead role, but when it came to the dwarves, they were clearly being marginalized. No, I'm not joking. This is what he said on the WTF podcast with Mark Maron.
I was a little taken back by the they're very proud to cast a Latino actress as Snow White.
Yeah.
But you're still telling the story of Snow White.
Yeah.
Seven Dwarfs.
Sure.
So take a step back and look at what you're doing there. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but you're still making that fucking backward story of seven dwarves living in a cave. What the are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause? From my soapbox, I guess I'm not loud enough. I don't know what studio that is, but they were so proud of that, and all love and respect to the actress and to the people who thought they were doing the right thing. But I'm just like, what are you doing?
Imagine being this out of touch and or just selfish. The story is literally called Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. It's not exactly up for creative interpretation. And these aren't real dwarves, they're fantasy creatures. If Disney had ignored the original characters and cast random stand-ins, he would be accusing them of cultural appropriation. There was no way they would have won here, and instead of just sticking to the source material, Disney folded like a cheap lawn chair. They decided to modernize the film by replacing the dwarves with a bunch of H&M catalog extras, and that's how a fairy tale got turned into a PR headache.
This is like an honest golden employment opportunity for dwarves.
there's not that many scripts that come down the pike.
No, there's 7 of them.
That has, and there's seven dwarf jobs here. But because I think it was Peter Dinklage said this is, this is not right. This is demeaning. And they were like, what? We just want to work. We're dwarves. So, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah. Well, not only the 7 actors, you've got their doubles and stand-ins. That's at least 14 jobs gone. Anyone with 2 brain cells could have known that it was a major mistake, but instead, they went the lazy route and we got the terrible CGI version. Now, this could have all been avoided. All they had to do was just follow the original story, cast properly, and stay true to the source material. Drop a like if you think Disney tried to please everyone and ended up pleasing nobody. But let's be honest, the dwarves controversy doesn't even scratch the surface of the real damage done by Rachel Zegler. She's managed to tank this movie more than anything else. Her endless interviews where she mocked the original film, calling the prince a stalker and said Snow White wouldn't be saved by a man, rubbed audiences the wrong way. And instead of realizing her mistakes, well, she put out videos like this.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
To be fair, I've seen a lot of people sharing this clip as if it's Rachel Zegler reacting to the movie flopping, but it's actually an old video. Still, it gives you a pretty solid look into how she thinks, and let's just say confidence is not something that she's lacking. Just recently, she posted on Instagram a picture of her with the caption reading, "#1 movie, in the world. Yeah, I wouldn't say that, especially if you consider it had a reported $350 million budget, and as of recording this video is struggling to break $100 million revenue. Even the producer's son called her out in a now deleted comment saying tens of thousands of people worked on the film and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Adding, quote, narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. But I'm sure Rachel will learn nothing from this and continue to play the victim because, well, that's the way she operates.
I have a feeling that this video is going to get taken out of context, and I know that at this point I can't really stop people from doing that because that's what my whole existence on the internet is just me being taken out of context and stuff, which is fine. That's what I signed up for, isn't it? But I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have when I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life, like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to make. It comes with so much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly, and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all.
Well, on one hand, she plays the victim, and on the other, she acts like she's some unstoppable force of nature. That combo is weird and only leads to a disaster similar to the one we saw unfold over this movie. And if you think I'm being too harsh, just wait till you see how Piers Morgan's panel reacted to her attitude, and, well, it's safe to say no one held back here.
Yes, it's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior. And if it was just one comment, it probably would have been forgotten by now. But it was comment after comment, and it was pissing off everybody, pissing off old Disney fans, pissing off new Disney fans, pissing off Trump supporters, pissing off all of America. And it became such a disaster that they had to shut her up, which was the smartest move they made. But the onus is all on her and Disney's reaction to it. And quite frankly, if she has said nothing, her movie, probably still forgettable, would have done a lot better.
Yeah, the smartest thing, as Gary said, that Disney could have done was to bury her and just keep her from talking to anyone. Do not give her a hot mic and do not let her spout her stupid, uninformed opinions. She's a kid. She's a dumb, uninformed kid who's never done a day's work in her entire life. And of course she has an opinion on everything. That doesn't mean we have to
It's not about
keep
being
her
a woman.
down.
She couldn't point to Israel on a map. The fact that someone like Gal Gadot, who's actually had a career, had to sit next to this spouting munchkin, or someone who actually has a career, who I'm pretty sure the hardest role in her life was pretending to be jealous of the looks of Rachel Zegler.
I genuinely hope that Disney takes a step back and seriously reflects on how badly this whole mess played out. Maybe then they'll return to the timeless storytelling that made them a household name to begin with, instead of constantly trying to please a hyper-niche progressive crowd that seems more and more interested in rewriting classics than actually honoring them. But I'd love to know your thoughts here, so let's get the conversation rolling in the comments down below. And if you want your friends to get their daily dose of coverage from an independent source like us, please share the video with them. It means the world. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.